one of the pieces of research that I was doing back when I was doing it, not in my lab, but back for University of Hawaii, was they were doing visual acuity experiments on a dolphin, and the setup was very crude by modern standards, but it had two targets, and if the dolphin made the correct visual choice as to the one it was supposed to choose, showing it had good vision, uh, it would push the paddle associated with that one, and then the person running the trial, which in that case was me, would be hidden from dolphins. In theory, the dolphin didn't know that the anybody was back there. Just you'd throw a herring over the end edge of the pond, and then the pool, and the dolphin would get it, and operant conditioner type thing, the stimulus response reward kind of a thing. Problem is, the dolphin clearly knew that I was in there. She see the people go in there, and she knew that I was running the experiment. And she also knew that she was going to get fed the same amount of total food to the ounce, no matter how she did the experiment. So she just had fun with it, and she'd do all kind of different games. And dolphins in general, I find, they'll flip the game on you. But in this case, and I had no flexibility. There was a specific protocol I had to follow because it was not my research. I was just running the things, and so she'd get them all right for a while. But instead of eating the fish, she'd put them in the tank. Was only 5 feet deep. She'd build a pile of herring on the bottom, and then she'd start getting them 100% wrong. And what I was supposed to do when she got it right,
not chance at that point.
No. When she got it right, I was supposed to push a button that made a reward siren. Woo, woo, woo. And you got it right, and then she get the fish, and she'd pair that. If she got it wrong, you'd hit a buzzer that was a klaxon buzz. You got it wrong, and she'd get no fish. So she'd make this pile of fish on the floor down there, and here I was skulking behind this plywood, thing, that opening and revealing the things. And once she had a big enough pile of fish, she'd start getting them all wrong. Of course, you have to see just as well to get them all wrong as to get them all right. But she'd get them all wrong, and then she'd pick up a fish and cock her rostrum back to throw it. My observation was through like a 5-by-5-inch hole in the plywood, which she wasn't supposed to be able to see because they didn't think dolphins could see that well, and it was dark in there. So I'd be looking to see what she was doing, and she'd push the wrong one. And I'd hit the clutch thing, and she'd wing a fish through the hole and smack me in the forehead. And so she ended up shaping my behavior. She'd keep doing it, smack. And it's amazing how accurate she was. Everyone didn't hit me in the forehead, but most of them did. Whack, whack, just, herring against my forehead. And after a while, she started shaping my behavior. I got so tired of getting slapped in the face with herring that I would wait, even though I wasn't supposed to. I'd wait in terms of pushing the klaxon buzzer. And she would wait too. It's like she'd get it wrong, and she'd go, "I know you got to push the buzzer, dude." And I'd wait for like 60 seconds. And finally, pow! So anyway, I'd walk out of there with a data sheet that showed she was virtually blind, and covered with little silver scales on my complexion. And then later on, of course, I'd go in with her, and we'd swim for an hour, and she'd sonar my skeleton, and
what does that mean?
All the things
sonar
that we do.
your skeleton.
Well, they see a dolphin's primary perceptual modality is sound, and it's like we had a little flashlight in our heads. They can, when they look at a human with a sonar, they're looking with something like like a X-ray, like an enhanced ultrasound. In other words, they can see the contents of your stomach, the air spaces, everything like that. And it's very interesting to be friends with a person who could see you in that way, and it was just amazing. And by the way, dolphins, she weighed 325 pounds. She could have killed me at any time. Any full size bottlenose dolphin could at any time kill anybody they're in the water with. They don't. It's to their credit, but it's interesting, the whole process of getting to know and trust each other and stuff. And over many months of spending time in with this dolphin, it was just it was intense, and it was definitely one of the most meaningful experiences of my life that is with me still today and will be always.
Is this the same dolphin that you regularly did yoga with, listening to music?
Yeah, and one of the things she liked to do is like would be on the surface, and she would do a kind of a twist to balance my nose and her blowhole out of the water, and then sing, well, holding on to my hands with her pectoral fins, and then we just sort of swim to the center of the pool and just yeah, it sounds weird, but just sing little song sort of things, and with her eyes closed, and I closed my eyes too. And it was sort of a meditative thing. So I don't know if that's dolphin yoga or whatever it is, but it was a thing. It wasn't my creation either. It was something that she created and decided to do, and that's just one of 1,000 different things that she would innovate to do. I was just in there to be friends, and she would say, okay, well, we've got nothing to do. Here's all of these games. Here's all these things that we can do. And I will note that this particular dolphin was kept in solitary confinement, had not been in with another dolphin in many
Are
years.
dolphins social creatures?
They're incredibly social. And I say that as a human introvert. But dolphins are incredibly social. It is not right to keep dolphins away from other dolphins in solitary, but this particular one was in solitary. And although I wanted to know her as well, I also felt a bit of an obligation because of this, social deprivation that she was. So I'm sure I was a very poor substitute for other dolphins, but I didn't have control over that situation. And I tried to be as good a friend as I could.
S-
And and not just for her, but also while doing that, realizing, okay, this gift that I've been given, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to pay this back. But one thing I can do is save a bunch of other dolphins that I'll never meet. And I have, and I hope to continue doing that. And, it's such a small payback for such a wonderful thing to have lived.